Welcome to the 90th Minute Whistle podcast. I'm your host, Mario. I'm here with my co-host, Leon.
Hello.
All right, so we're in the final rounds of European champ any form of European
Yes,
football.
sir. We are in the final match day.
Again, am I the only one feeling unsatisfied by the season?
Yes, you are the only one. You're the only one being unsatisfied.
All right.
Everybody else is enjoying the rounds of.
I just haven't seen something that sparks. You know, like,
yeah, you said that last season too.
No, but like last season, I said last season ended anticlimactic. Like there was a lot of build up, but
it's the group stage. What do you expect?
No.
What do you expect?
A lot better. Like nobody has.
Maybe better.
No. Like, all right, granted, even though we've seen some upsets and some
this man can't be pleased with.
It's all like everything anyway.
That's like a
leave it alone. Leave it alone. This is a sports podcast. It's not a football podcast. Leave it alone. I was gonna say, yeah, like it just like the group stages just feel anticlimactic. Granted, PSG and Man City have put on a show the 2 times they met. That group has been probably the most entertaining group in terms of just football to watch. And that's the thing that has kind of maybe disappointed me is that there's been a lot of upsets or different results that we probably didn't expect, but the football wasn't entertaining to watch.
Yeah, but I think the entertainment comes from the different upsets, the different the results.
That's
the
what's
results haven't
confusing.
been predictable.
That's what's confusing me. Like I should be happy with what the Champions League of teams that still have like 5, but I should be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like the matches up, but the matches. If you watch the matches, it's been like it doesn't seem like Champions League classic clashes. It either seems like one team just have their way.
Like I understand what you're trying to say, but I think you should also take a look at how, like the Champions League of old, most of the results that we've seen would not have been those type of results. You know what I mean? So seeing, like for instance, Sheriff doing well, like how many persons would have predicted Sheriff to be in contention?
No, but here's the thing: we've seen teams as small as Sheriff stand up in the Champions League before and create upsets like that. I can use examples. Bate Buros of Belarus.
Yeah.
They've given us Champions League moments before. I can go to a club that really I don't know what the hell is going on at this football club, but it has produced the Luka Modric, it produced the Mateo Kovacic, it produces the Marcelo Brozovic of this world. It's one of Croatia's, or should be Croatia's biggest club, Dinamo Zagreb. I remember when Dinamo Zagreb was giving Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid a run for their money and Ajax a run for their money in our group that they shouldn't. So I'm saying even though we didn't specifically see Sheriff, but we've seen smaller teams like Sheriff like pull surprises. But it's not about even the results, because like I said, like Sheriff did well. They played better than Shakhtar Donetsk, or I don't know if it's because none of the teams are at their best, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because like I said, if you've watched like Liverpool dismantling of their group, Liverpool made their group extremely comfortable. If you get what I'm trying to say, like.
And that was unexpected. That was unexpected.
Exactly, that was unexpected. Like Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's boring.
And I wouldn't say it's boring, because they played well. The football was good.
No, but what I'm saying is, Leon, none of the teams they played are in a position like. One of the things about the older Champions League that I kind of miss and this is one of the things that we're just going to have to struggle through for a little bit. All of the teams were at least built right or close to their best. It feels like a lot of the teams that we're watching are transitioning. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, for example, Liverpool walk over Atletico Madrid twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2013, when Atletico are at their best or have a good built team, you're not expecting that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the teams that are here are not going to give you a Champions League classic because, all right, Liverpool is in a very good situation. They've had a squad that has been built properly for years, but they're not playing an AC Milan team that is in that type of situation. You get what I'm saying? Even when Tottenham beat Inter, right? You remember when Tottenham beat Inter 5?
Yeah, I remember that match.
That Inter team was still a good Inter team. The problem was it was an Inter team that was older now. It still had remnants of the 2010 team. It still had your Maicons and stuff. But again, they were not in a terrible situation where they were playing like shit. Granted, Tottenham beat the shit out of them. But overall, the team wasn't. The teams were better, if you got them. Like Atletico Madrid was a better overall team. I feel like a lot of the teams that we're watching now are transitioning.
That's true, but you see, all right. If it's one thing you could say about this right now, I think what this Champions League has done has proven I wouldn't, okay, you're right. It's not surprising. All right, it's surprising, but not exciting. And I think the reason why it's not exciting to you is because you already, in a sense, is predicting the strengths of these teams. So for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea dismantling Juventus 4-0.
Yeah.
You call that on the podcast that no problem, Chelsea should dismantle Juventus.
Yeah.
And what did Chelsea do? They dismantled Juventus. A 4-0 thrashing handed Juventus their heaviest defeat since 2004. And that's without a Werner and a Lukaku. Well, Lukaku because Werner scored.
Yeah, but like, which is actually a damn good point. Like, it's part of our jobs to predict how well these teams play.
Exactly.
But hold on. Let me just give you a small example. Even Shakhtar Donetsk, right? They're a transitioning team right now because Shakhtar has never been a team that was going to win the Champions, right? Mm-hmm. But they would always give you entertaining matches, upset against big teams. But even they're a transitioning squad right now. They're not the Shakhtar that they used to be in terms of talent around the pitch and a well-built team. So when you say
that's
that, well, so when you say that Sheriff outperformed them, for most people it was a surprise because most people don't even know that Shakhtar is a Ukrainian team. But they know that Shakhtar usually performs well in the Champions League. And so to a lot of people, it was surprising that Sheriff can beat Shakhtar. For me, it wasn't that surprising. So I get what you're saying that, well, you know these squads are big. But for example, Benfica beat Barcelona. And it was bittersweet because I'm a fan of both of those teams. You know that Benfica is my favorite Portuguese team.
Yes, but like you said, but you expect nothing from this Barca team.
Yeah, so it's like, and then the next thing is even this Benfica team. This Benfica team is a transition in They had to call back Jorge Jesus from Brazil. They took him back from Flamengo because where the club was heading was going in a bad direction. So let's bring him back, the guy who gave us all of our success. To stabilize the ship because Benfica were starting to sink. No, granted, we do have 1 and 2 talents in the squad, but I did not get to see a good Benfica team go up against a good Barca team and beat them. So it was like a bittersweet ending. It's like, okay, Benfica beat Barca 3-0, but Mario expects that because I know this Benfica squad is, in a lot of ways, has some better talents than the Barca squad.
But you see, what I look at, right? I think what this Champions League group stages has done And bar any surprises in the latter rounds, I think we have seen who our final four should be. Like, we see the three English clubs that are challenging for the league are also showing their European credentials, right? And Bayern is also showing that, yeah, they are still a force to be reckoned with in the Champions League, right? You never count out your Real Madrid, but Madrid does not look as good as those four.
Because they haven't faced anybody, but also Madrid has not faced anybody.
They have not faced, exactly. City, you could say that City's Achilles heel is they don't have a striker, because they should have buried PSG in the first half.
That's it.
And in the away leg in Paris, they should have buried PSG again. The only difference is this time City ended up taking their chances and scoring. And Rio Ferdinand, I think it was Rio who said it, but Pochettino's inability to get Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe to press or to work hard, and his inability to have a midfield to work without Verratti will be his undoing.
All right, here's the thing though. Can I counter that point? Well, finish the point first, because I want to counter.
Yeah, because PSG, for all the attacking talent that they have, they will, as City shown, they will become undone. For instance, right, if this PSG side plays against a Liverpool, I genuinely believe that they're going to get buried, because Salah and Mane are not missing the chances that City's attackers are missing. They are deadly clinical. And their intensity of their press, you cannot have three players who are casually strolling around while you're trying to defend with 7 other players. That's not going to work. And City exploited that completely. Guardiola literally cut off the front three from everybody else, and then had City's attackers literally force PSG to camp in their own half.
All right, so let me come to the point.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to come to the point about Pochettino. Guys, I don't want, unfortunately, Pochettino will be a fall guy for PSG, but he's not the problem. There is no manager in Europe that can get those three guys to press, or at least Neymar and Messi. How Tuchel got a role? No, how Tuchel got a role? No, that's Mbappe. That's different. Nobody could get Messi to press at Barca in his final years. Neither Cristiano Ronaldo, because they're getting old. Nobody has gotten Neymar to press ever. So there has always been countermeasures to make sure of that. For example, look at the Brazilian national team. The Brazilian national team uses 2 defensive midfielders in their starting 11.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because guess what? And let's put Neymar in the middle and let's get him off of the left. You know why? Because I don't want to leave space open on the left. What was the most impressive thing I told you about Neymar in the Copa America?
Oh yeah, that he was tracking back.
That was the most impressive thing to me. Like, Neymar was running back, making tackles. So again, Tuchel escaped that because again he had Di Maria on one wing, Mbappe on the next wing, right?
Yeah, and he had Neymar through the middle.
Exactly. So Neymar isn't involved in the defensive effort. You just exist on the field. Now, as you said, you can't have 3 players that aren't pressing. And Pochettino's playing style drives off of pressing. He was one of the managers in the Premier League even before Jurgen Klopp. Now, Jurgen Klopp brings gegenpressing, which is a lot more intense, but Pochettino's teams were known for their high energy press and hitting you on the counter.
Yes, from his days at Southampton, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, he always had a high, that's his tactical blueprint. Work hard, high energy, look to win back the ball immediately.
Exactly. And then I have enough
And I'm not
technical
blaming
talent.
Pochettino because I know
That's
that
the
this is
part.
not.
That's the part.
For me, Pochettino doesn't even look like he wants to be there anymore. I think he
Yeah,
took the job, but I
because
think when he got in there, I think he's now facing the same thing Tuchel is facing when Tuchel said
exactly,
he felt like a sports minister, not a coach.
exactly. Because here's the thing. Um, which is why you and
And
I, which is
I think he actively wants to leave.
yeah, but here's the reason. Here's the thing. You know what's the difference between Pochettino and every other manager that has come in since to take over, and why I think
Mhm.
this is going to be heartbreaking for him. And this is a part of why he took the
Yeah.
job. Pochettino used to play for PSG at their highest when they had the JJ Okochas, Ronaldinho's, Juan Pablo Sorin, when they had all of those players. Guess who was one of their starting defenders
Yeah.
or defensive midfielders? Pochettino.
Yeah, Pochettino.
So again, I think he took this job as like, oh, I finally get back to my old club. I know they have enough money to compete with the best in the world, and them already have a couple players that. But the problem is Pochettino will never be able to build a squad
I
to
think that
his playing
the thing
style.
that one of the things that I realized, I think that you can excuse Messi for not pressing because he's Messi. Just like with CR7 and what he has accomplished, he has earned that right to not press, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
There are
CR7 as
certain
well.
players who earn that right at any respective club, that you are excluded from defensive duties. Now, personally, and many persons might disagree with me on this, but Mbappe or Neymar has not earned that right.
Neither of them have. You failed in a Champions
Neither of
League
them has
final.
earned. Yeah, neither of them has earned the recognition or the right to say, oh, you should be excluded from defensive
From
duties,
press
which is
exactly.
why I think a coach like Zidane is what PSG needs, because Zidane teams do press high.
No, but
And
Zidane is
Zidane
a man
is the
manager.
play. Yeah, but it's the thing, Zidane knows how to manage egos properly, in a sense that he is one of the true greats of football.
Yeah, but Leon, here's
Yeah,
a problem.
3 Ballon d'Ors, Champions League, World Cup. Now, he can look at Mbappe and Neymar to tell them that you have not accomplished nothing in this game, that you are going to just stroll around the pitch.
Yeah, but Leon, here's a problem
Messi
with that.
has 5 Ballon d'Ors and 4 Champions League trophies to go home to stare at. He is allowed to not press. But what have you accomplished in this game to say, oh, I shouldn't press? Because if Pep was the manager of this PSG team, well, then again, Pep probably transfer list to them the next day still.
It's not just that, Leon. It's not just that. Here's why Pep would have never taken this job. If you're going to give Pep a squad, you're going to have to build it to Pep's liking. If you're going to give Klopp a squad, you're going to have to build the
because
squad to Klopp's liking.
Pep and Klopp are going to say one thing. It's either my way or the highway. There's no in between. You either do what I want or you go through the door.
No, but
and
Leon,
if the club is not going to back up me, then them gone through the door.
And Tuchel had to do the same thing. But here's the thing, and I want you to notice this pattern. And I wanted to notice the pattern, which is why I said that Pochettino cannot solve a problem, because you can't fit square pegs into round holes. There's no manager that can solve this PSG problem.
That is true.
Because you put too many attacking players on the pitch that don't work well with each other. That's the main problem. So unless you're going to use Messi as a false 9, Neymar as the 10, Mbappe and Di Maria out wide, you're not getting any pressing out wide. Now, of course, Di Maria always.
No, see, that's the problem now. That is a very unbalanced setup, though, because you cannot. You're basically having a false 9 with a number 10.
Exactly.
Right.
So they're filling each other's space.
That is an unbalanced setup.
They're filling each other's space. So they're going to get in each other's way. Now, of course, Mbappe is the one you want to play through the middle in this situation, but you're not getting any pressing from Neymar or wide on the left. So now you're forced to put Mbappe on the left, which and Neymar inside.
Exactly, because now you're putting too much pressure on your left. You're putting too much pressure on your left back and your left central midfielder, left defensive midfielder, whosoever they are. You're basically leaving them exposed on that left-hand side. And
Also,
now you already have
one,
someone through the middle who is not going to press. So again, the pressure, you're literally, like I said, what happened against City was the midfield was literally trying to cover the ground for all three. And when you play against high intense matches, that just doesn't work.
all right. Also,
It
the next
does
thing I want
not
to bring up,
work.
and this is why I said that there's nobody that can solve the problem. Your two best midfielders who have to play in that midfield pivot, neither of them are defensive midfielders. Granted, both work hard defensively. To get the most out of either of the two, neither of them are defensive midfielders. Verratti and Wijnaldum are your best two midfielders. You have a creative box-to-box midfielder, works hard defensively, but to get the most out of him, you have to play him as a box-to-box midfielder. Verratti can play as a register if you have another high-energy player beside him who can do tackling, like Idrissa Gana.
Yeah, which is why he went with Verratti, Herrera, and Wijnaldum, because Herrera also works hard.
But all three of them are, you have two, a while ago, you know what you just listed? You just listed two deep line playmakers who worked hard, and you have a box.
Yeah, because that's the only way it's going to work, and then you got Fiji
But that cannot work.
That will probably put him again. That's another. But that's the only way it has to work.
No, but what I'm saying to you
because you do not have a different.
Exactly, that's my point.
It's unbalanced, but the squad has to be unbalanced for it to work properly.
No, but Leon, it cannot.
Because
that's what, no, but
this
Leon, that's
PSG
my point.
team,
no, but Leon, that's my
this
point.
PSG team, you're literally going into every match knowing that year one. Every match is a shootout, and we're just going in there to score goals.
Yes, but Leon, here's a problem with that. You know what? You know why you can get away with a midfield pivot where one of the midfielders can move up? Because there's one dedicated to tackling. Let's look at Jose's Madrid team. Yes, Xabi Alonso could push up and make passes and even shoot from distance if he wants to. Khedira is going to sit. Matic and Kante. Kante was allowed to roam a bit more. Sorry, Fabregas.
No, Fabregas.
Yeah, Fabregas. That's my bad. I'm thinking contest.
Yeah, Fabregas was allowed to move forward, roam, do whatever he wanted to because Matic sat.
He's dedicated to just that. Just that. And that's the problem.
And then they have Hakimi as a right back.
A very attack-minded fullback. And all of their left backs other than Dio is attack-minded. And then Dio might be a good defender, but he isn't a world-class defender.
It's like, and people say, and I say it all the while, PSG, and this is why I don't get why Leonardo have so much talk, because you suck at your job.
He does.
You suck badly at your job. You literally, like, you're buying players for buying players' sake. You're giving players contract for giving players contract's sake. You're not building a team.
And Leon, this is a pattern I want fans to notice. This is a pattern I want fans to notice. Notice every manager that has brought PSG close to actually winning silverware, they always leave under bad conditions. Laurent Blanc won the most trophies for PSG ever. He even beat out Ancelotti for the amount of trophies he won. Ancelotti left
to a Champions League quarterfinals.
Exactly. Ancelotti left the club for the same foolishness. They were just buying players. You didn't need to buy Zlatan and Cavani. But guess what? They were the two hottest commodities at the time. Cavani was the hottest thing for Napoli. Chelsea's the one who knocked him out of the Champions League. Or Drogba here, winning the Champions League. So he was the hottest commodity. But he had two of the same type of strikers. So now Cavani has to waste 3 years of his career playing on the wing with Lavezzi on the other side and Zlatan through the middle because you're not starting over Zlatan. And then Carlo Ancelotti had to change formations countless times because we kept adding new players to the squad who never really fit the squad, but Ancelotti made it work. Tuchel made it work. Laurent Blanc made it work. What happens when you give a squad to a manager who isn't as proven as those guys? Let's use the UNI Emery season.
who is actually a system, which is actually a system manager. Because as I said, Unai Emery, none of these players fit his style.
Exactly. So what happens when Unai Emery goes in? Oh, you lose the league by a point. Again, a lot of the foolishness that PSG has done has been covered up by good managerial choices. Tuchel covered up a lot of cracks.
Yeah, because he played that. There's one time where he played a 3-4-1-2.
Exactly.
To give them that added defensive stability.
Exactly. Thiago Silva with Marquinhos and Kimpembe. Using wing backs, you know why? Because Neymar now go press. So let's put him in a
defending our back five.
Exactly, and I don't have a pure defensive midfielder. So every one of my central midfielders are hard-working players, but they're either deep line playmakers or box-to-box midfielders. Let's list them out. Gana Gay was a box-to-box midfielder. He fits in that Kante category with SCN and Ramirez, where them can play defensive midfield, but it's not their natural position. They're box-to-box central midfielders. Leandro Paredes, Ander Herrera, and Verratti are three of the same player. Deep line playmakers who can sit in front of the back four as registers, but that's just because they work hard, but they're naturally deep line playmakers. And again,
they have Thiago Motta at one time.
Yeah, but that was under Ancelotti. That was way back under Ancelotti. Ancelotti didn't ask for Verratti to be signed. Verratti was a surprise signing. But in all fairness, he was one of the hottest young commodities coming out of Syria. Well, Serie B, because Pescara. As a matter of fact, and you know that it was Ancelotti who turned Verratti into a deep line playmaker. Guess what?
Was attacking me?
Yes, he was an attacking.
Because he couldn't fit in the attack.
Exactly. Why? Because we already have Javier Pastore, who was starting at the time, and he was playing world class at the time. And we still had players like Jeremy Menez, Nene out wide. We were bringing in Lavezzi. Then we brought in two strikers who we don't know how they're going to fit in the squad yet. But we're bringing in Cavani and Zlatan. So are we going to play a 4-4-2 with Matuidi and Thiago Motta with two wingers in Menez and Nene? Does Pastore play? Does Verratti get a chance to play? Well, Ancelotti said, well, I'm going to have to use maybe a 4-4-2 diamond to get Verratti, Matuidi, Thiago Motta, and Pastore up on the field with Cavani and Zlatan up front. Well, then how does Lavezzi get game? And he's currently playing world class. Well, all right, I'm going to switch to a front three. All right, now that I switch to a front three, is it Verratti, Thiago, and Matuidi? Is it Pastore, Matuidi, and Verratti? So Verratti ended up being turned into a deep line playmaker because at Pescara he was a number 10. He was an attacking midfielder who could score goals. Of course, him having vision and him passing. And a lot of people were looking at him more like a Del Piero rather than what he's become. Because again, he was more of an attacking midfielder. So again, a lot of good managers have covered up for PSG's bullshit bias. So now that you're in a situation where you have the amount of attacking talent that you have to fit on the field, and then not only that, but PSG have not built their midfield properly.
No, they have. But that's the thing, they haven't really built anything properly, have they?
No, they haven't built anything whatsoever. And they're lucky that the clubs around them literally had to sell their best players. As soon as Marseille get a 30-goal a season striker in Batshuayi, at least he was at Marseille. He got sold to Chelsea. Payet got sold to West Ham and still end up.
Monaco got dismantled.
Monaco, oh my God, them raid Monaco for the first year, and then the second year when Monaco get Tielemans and a couple of others, them get raided again. So every time a contender comes up, Europe raids that squad. They are no longer contenders. So now you're in a situation again. Lyon is on a rebuild. Marseille is on a rebuild. Monaco is on a rebuild. So who is going to challenge you while you're making these fucked up mistakes? And that's one of the bad things. And that's one of the things that I hear even people discussing it in the NFL. Sometimes a lot of guys who don't make it in sports, they were always the superstar when they were younger.
Yeah.
And they could get away with indiscipline. They could get away with, and we talk about this in our schoolboy football a lot here in Jamaica. When you're a school athlete, you can get away with any bullshit you want, because you're protected, because of your talent. So now, what happens when you're in a team? What happens when you reach to the highest level and everybody that surrounds you has accomplished the same amount of shit as you, but you don't work as hard as them because you've been pet and pampered your whole life because you're the most talented person on your team. So the reason why I brought up that was to say, when you have success in the wrong way, when you've gained success in the wrong way, that can be detrimental to you as well.
Yeah, because it masks your long-term problems. I think Barca is another great example of that. Because they were winning La Liga titles and stuff, most fans were blind to what Bartomeu was actually doing to the club. And it's only after you stopped winning and they got that 8-2 from Bayern that most fans woke up. Like it took an 8-2 beating for you to realize that.
Yeah, because even the
something is drastically wrong.
Even 7-0 on aggregate at Liverpool, nobody never batted. 5-1 from Roma in the Champions League, nobody never batted. Because guess what? Win La Liga those 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now you lose La Liga, you lose the Copa del Rey, you lose the Super Cup, and then you get Arsenal from Bayern. And now you're steering at the Europa League. The funny thing is, when the last time Barca was in the Europa League? When Sir Bobby Robson, that English coach?
Yes, I know Sir Bobby Robson.
Yeah, he's the last person to win the Europa League with Barca. He won a treble with Barca. And Barca fired him the following season. You know why?
Why?
Because we don't play long ball football at Barca. Granted, it won us the Europa League, it won us the Super Cup, the Spanish Super Cup, and won the Copa del Rey. Well, I know. This is what I'm going to say sometimes history. You have to learn your history. You're doing the same mistake. Sir Bobby Robson, the reason why he spent 1 year at Barca and basically put the club back into Champions League position, put back the club in title contention position, and guess who was the person who convinced R9 to choose Barca over every club?
Him.
Yeah, because guess who was his coach at PSV Eindhoven who took him from Brazil?
Sir Bobby Robson.
Yes. He's the one who convinced R9 to come to Barca. And Barca fired him immediately after the season. You know why? Well, we don't play long ball football here, and we just had and you're supposed to be Johan Cruyff's successor. You're supposed to be better than Cruyff. Cruyff left the team in a bad position. Granted, Cruyff has had success at Barca, but if you look towards the end of Cruyff's spell,
the end of Cruyff. Yeah, but again, I think it actually like your club is prone to this because y'all just jumped up and fired Cruyff and that was basically it. There was no plan. You just see Cruyff fired, done.
Exactly. And guess
what? You had no plan.
No. They had a plan. No. Leon, guess what I found out recently? They had a plan. But guess what? Johan Cruyff's success, or who they viewed as Johan Cruyff's successor at the time,
yeah,
wasn't available yet. Guess who they were waiting on, or at least waiting a year for? Louis van Gaal. Because it was right after that them hired Van Gaal. They were literally waiting until that Ajax season was finished. So they put in Sir Bobby Robson in place. He got us. He won us the Europa League, which was at the time was the UEFA Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won us that. He won us the Copa del Rey and he won us the Spanish Cup. I think he lost La Liga by a point. R9 was the highest goal scorer in La Liga that season, and yeah, got us back into the Champions League, and was instantly fired because he was playing long ball English bullshit football.
Hey, it worked.
No, it worked. You'll never. Again, I am a fan of all football playing styles. They actually, if you don't have multiple playing styles in football, it's going to be bullshit. Somebody has to be a pragmatist. Somebody has to be all out attack. Somebody has to be balanced on the position, please. So I actually like
as long as it get results. See, that's the game. That's the aim of the game, you know.
Yeah, and then Barca still fired his ass. So I don't know how we give Valverde that long. I don't know how we gave Valverde that long. So when you look at Barca's history, you can even see a lot of managerial patterns and changes that they didn't really do things all the way right all the time. But as long as Barca is having success, like they will, the one thing they won't let slide is the playing style, but it's the Valverde last even a year. But PSG problems have been masked for years. But the overall, the Champions League so far, I think we've been disappointed by AC Milan. But it's their first year back, so I can't kill them over that. And their squad is still developing. They're actually using more youngsters than last. Atletico Madrid, them winning La Liga last year was a master problems. They're just as bad as Madrid and Barca, Real and Barca.
That is true.
But people don't look at their squad like that because their squad isn't getting 8-2 in the Champions League. Same thing for Madrid. People still have this blind faith in Madrid because they haven't gotten that beat down yet. People are starting to look at Atletico Madrid now that Liverpool beat them twice. Now people are starting to look at Atletico Madrid like they actually are. One of the most disappointing groups of those groups, Ajax, Sporting, Dortmund, and Besiktas.
Well, Ajax told that Ajax schooled that group.
Walked over them.
I actually thought that group was going to be somewhat competitive.
Exactly.
Ajax walked them. Ajax walked every single one of them.
And this Ajax team isn't as good as the team that went to the semifinals.
No, but Haller, I want to know what Ten Hag is feeding Haller.
He's not feeding him anything. He trusts him. That's it. He trusts him.
Because
that's
Haller
it.
He's on fire.
For both club and country. Now, granted, Ivory Coast have fell out of World Cup
This is not the same Haller that left West Ham.
Yeah, also, a lot of people see Haller as an out-and-out striker when he isn't, and that's also a part of the problem. Haller might be a tall, strong forward, but he didn't grow up playing as a number 9. So he fits Ten Hag's system. He's really a tall false 9. Or a tall second striker.
Which is why it works for Ten Hag.
Yeah, because despite the fact that he's tall, he plays like a false 9. Link drops deep, links up play, but guess what? He's tall and strong, so I can still run across to him. No, of course, he wasn't like a Roberto Firmino who changed from attacking midfield to being a false 9. So, I mean, Firmino won't have certain striker instincts. But if you look at Sebastian Haller's best season outside of Ajax, it was when he was playing in a front two with Ante Rebic at Frankfurt.
Yep, true. Which is why they bought him in the first place.
And with Jovic after Rebic.
Which is why this is what I don't understand, Managers see players in certain systems.
Yeah.
And then when they buy them, they try to fit them in a system that you've never seen them in before.
Exactly.
And then expect them to do something.
West Ham did want to drop the ball in his chest and he hold it up and wait for everybody for it. And that's not what you're using.
Because that's not the player you bought.
Exactly. And you can't just use him as a winger in a 4-2-3-1.
You know, it's funny. It's why persons say that Lukaku harms Chelsea than anything, because our attack is more fluid without Lukaku.
Without him, yeah.
And Tuchel likes fluid players. But there's two sides to that story, because Belgium uses the same system, and it's pretty fluid with Hazard, Thorgan, De Bruyne, Mertens. It's pretty fluid. I think the problem why Chelsea has with Lukaku is that, and Fabregas did a Q&A session on Twitter, and someone asked him, what does he think about Werner? And he said that he would have loved to play with a striker like him, because he's always on the move, he's always making runs. And then he said, the problem is the midfield is not finding those runs. And when we're watching when Werner came on against Juventus, Loftus-Cheek had the ball, right? And there was a split second where a simple pass would have left Werner one-on-one with Szczesny, and he opted to go side to side.
Yeah, but
there are many times with Lukaku leading the line, a simple pass would have been able to get him free. And I think this is what Tuchel alluded to, that there is no chemistry between him and his attackers.
Not just that, but you don't have a deep line playmaker in the squad. You don't have, there's no
I don't even say that we have a deep line playmaker. We just don't have an attacking playmaker.
No,
because Jorginho is finding, finds those passes from deep.
What I'm saying is even Jorginho is a great register. I get that, but he isn't a natural deep line playmaker. When I say deep line playmaker, Xavi, Fabregas, those guys, like, he's not a just purely deep line playmaker. Like, what did Jorginho, when he was at Hellas Verona or Kiev Verona, whichever one of the Veronas, I get them mixed up sometimes. Jorginho was a box-to-box midfielder, high energy. Exactly what you asked from Kante is what Jorginho used to. But he had the passing of a deep line playmaker, the vision of a deep line playmaker. So when he moved to Napoli, playing him as a register in front of the back four was so perfect, because he has the high energy and work ethic and tackling of a box-to-box midfielder. But he can pass like a Fabregas and a Xavi. But Verratti is a deep line playmaker who works very hard. Xavi, deep line playmaker, works very hard. Fabregas, on him, they will work hard, but he's a damn good deep line playmaker. But he's a pure playmaker. Deep line playmaker. You spread passes all over the pitch. Toni Kroos.
Which is the profile of midfielder that Chelsea doesn't have.
Toni Kroos. Now, granted, again, Toni Kroos has the work ethic of a box-to-box mid, but he's a natural deep line playmaker. His job is literally to pick apart midfield.
Yes, that's why in the World Cup team, Ozil was the one in front of him.
Exactly. And then Khedira would just tackle and clean up and give the ball to
him. And if you wanted pure possession, you put him on Schweinsteiger.
When you just want to control the game now and make sure.
Yeah, but you could always play these guys as number 10s because they were playmakers.
Exactly.
They work hard, but they're playmakers.
Xabi Alonso might be tall, might work hard, but he's a deep line playmaker. I know towards the end of his career, when he started to get slower, Guardiola said, all right, let me use you in the Busquets role. Same thing for Thiago Motta. Thiago Motta wasn't a defensive midfielder until he reached the PSG. When he was at Inter, box-to-box midfielder. When he was at Barca, box-to-box midfielder, but we couldn't keep him fit. Injury prone, so we just throw him at Inter and Jose say, all right, bet him win a Champions League. And Jose did win a champion. Granted, he came off the bench a lot. He was a super sub for Jose, but still win champions.
Yeah, because Schneider, Zanetti,
Cambiaso, Montari, Stankovic,
yeah.
all of those midfielders.
And
So
Schneider was in Ballon d'Or form.
yeah, there are the one position that was never going to be changed, number 10 position.
Mm-hmm.
So the other
it's
three
funny though, because
midfielders are around.
I remember like Oscar made a post the other day when we were going to play Juventus.
Yeah.
And you remember the goal that he scored against them even though we lost the match?
Yeah.
And somebody commented and said, I wish you'd come back. We need you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when I looked at it, as much as Oscar would start off very hot, then die off going into the latter part of the season.
Yeah.
He really is the type of midfielder that Chelsea is missing right now. Because when you look at all of our midfielders and upcoming midfielders, we have goal scorers, we have deep line playmakers, we have box-to-box midfielders, we have attacking midfielders, we have ball carriers in Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek, who great dribblers of the ball and all of these things. But what we don't have is a playmaker.
Yeah, pure
and
playmaker.
The thing with playmakers is that it's not something you coach. You don't coach a De Bruyne, you don't coach a Ozil. These are players that are just born with that IQ, that vision, that sees the entire pitch.
And I hate to say this about Oscar, but you're a field cacker.
He's a field cacker, but
no, love him like no, trust me,
not.
Love him. No, love him. Trust me. I've been crying all season. You know what's the one signing I wanted Roma to make and they didn't make this season?
Mm-hmm.
By Oscar. And give Jose back in number 10.
Because the thing with Oscar is he will score, but he's a very good playmaker.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When Oscar peers off in the season, because I agree with you, Oscar starts out hot goal scoring wise and then peers off in the season. But you know what? You're still seeing that end part of the season. Despite
he will be passing the ball. He will be creating plays.
Exactly.
His goals numbers would stop. That does always. We've watched him enough at Chelsea. Oscar will get you 10 to 13, maybe 15 goals a season.
Yeah, but in the first half,
he will get double digits, but that's all in the first half of the season.
Yeah, but
if it's not in the first half, it's in the second half.
Exactly.
His goals will come in either half of the season. But what you will get when he's no longer scoring is high work rate, tackles, insane pressing, and you'll still have that passing ability. Even if he's not the one making the final pass, he's setting up the play. Which was why Jose preferred him to Mata and De Bruyne. A lot of persons think that Jose just threw away De Bruyne. No, at the time, you're not starting over Hazard. That's the first thing. You're not starting over Hazard.
Which is why I
was in blinding form, and Oscar was untouchable.
Exactly, but which is why I said that I didn't want.
And you were not starting over Fabregas either.
And I didn't want them to sell De Bruyne, but I did want them to keep him on loan. I did want them to send him on loan.
Which is what Jose suggested actually, to loan him back out, not to sell him.
Not to sell him.
Granted, De Bruyne would have been the long-term solution, but when you are Jose Mourinho and when you're at Chelsea, you are competing to win the title.
No. And so who can help me win? No.
And again, you cannot, there's no Chelsea fan and any Chelsea fans that say that, oh, we missed De Bruyne, then you are clearly have an agenda because we won the league twice before De Bruyne even saw a league title for City. And as much as, like I said, De Bruyne would have,
and De Bruyne doesn't have one European
would have probably been the long-term solution to our
because again,
problems.
prisoners of the moment. People don't realize, yes, Salah was good for FC Basel, but he didn't hit the ground running coming into the Premier League.
He did not. And you do not, again, at a club like Chelsea, you do not have that
time to develop. We're not a team that develop players.
You don't have time for that to do all of that. And
which is why the loan system was so efficient.
Exactly. You know, I was having this argument with someone that they said that look at how Cobham is performing and look at how all the youths and I'm like, okay, I'll raise it that the academy is producing great players and these players are performing for Chelsea.
And recently,
but let us be honest, right? Recently, how many academy graduates could have really said, oh, they deserve to start at that Chelsea. They deserve a spot.
No, but a lot of people don't also realize Chelsea's academy has recently been at a place where it's producing a lot of talent. Let me use an example. Let me use an example.
Yeah.
Let me use an example. Guess who was Chelsea's best attacking talent coming out of their academy in Carlo Ancelotti's finals?
Josh McEachran.
No, attacking talent, not midfield.
No, was that Kakuta? Did we have Kakuta at the time there?
Yeah, we had Kakuta at the time, but he wasn't even still considered our best talent coming out at the time. Guess who was our best talent coming out at the time? And I would say even right before Gail Kakuta, Patrick Van Aanholt and McEachran, who all came out at the same time, right before that year. Guess who was our best academy graduate?
Who?
Scott Sinclair.
Oh, yes, I remember him. But he wasn't all that good.
No, his best spell was with Swansea. When they won the League Cup. He was their left winger. To
me personally, I didn't see what nobody saw. I didn't see it.
No, granted, he had a great career at Celtic after Swansea, but that's still Celtic.
I didn't see it. I always saw Josh has the better.
And again, this is a year before. This is a year before those guys. So Scott Sinclair came out with Franco Di Santo. I bet you don't remember that Chelsea number 9.
No, I don't.
He was supposed to be our new Hernan Crespo. You don't remember Franco Di Santo? Argentine number 9?
No.
Right before by Torres?
No.
I him did wear number 9 before Torres come.
That's for sure, yeah. I wipe him from memory.
No, trust me. I don't even I think he played most of one.
Was it worth the time?
It wasn't. Granted, he had a good spell at Werder Bremen. The year when De Bruyne was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was their starting striker. His career hasn't went well.
But that's the thing. You can look at all the academy graduates up to Loftus-Cheek generation and say, what have they accomplished since leaving Chelsea? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Gail Kakuta robbed a Chinese club.
Because you were not of the required level.
And this is why I like. Hold on, but Leon, here's the thing. I wouldn't say that about a few players. Here's why I can't say that about McEachran. His injuries robbed him of his career rather than him not being at the level. Van Aanholt. Yeah,
but this is the thing is, Mario. Yeah. Injuries also plays a part in you being at that level. Because if your body cannot handle it, right? If your body just physically cannot handle it, and Chelsea plays in the Premier League, it's the same thing with Jack Wilshere. He's a great player.
But here's a problem with the body argument. The body argument of your body cannot handle it depends on a lot of different factors, and that's the problem.
I know, and you cannot control that. That's not something.
No. It's not that they cannot control it. It's not that they cannot control it. In Wilshere's case, is that he didn't take care of himself, and he would admit that himself. His early years of playing football, and this is why Guardiola wanted to get Ronaldinho and Beckham fuck from our own.
Mm-hmm.
The lifestyle that Wilshere was living was not healthy towards his body overall. If you took the fact that he played, if you took away the fact that Wilshere was a footballer and you just saw him on the street as a regular person, a regular guy, that person does not live a healthy lifestyle. in the cases of injuries, it's not necessarily about if your body can manage it, but what was your first sustained injury? So it all depends on even the injuries as well. For example, Cazorla. Cazorla could still play in the Premier League after all of those surgeries, but it was still smarter to go in La Liga because it's less intense. But that doesn't mean that Cazorla dropped in skill level. That's why I say, like,
because he went to Villarreal and made La Liga team of the season, first season back in professional football.
Exactly. So in McEachran's case, I can't say it's because of skill wise, or it wasn't at the level. Van Aanholt has proven that, okay, I'm a good fullback, but I'm not a world class fullback. Van Aanholt, who played for Crystal Palace, he plays for Galatasaray, and he's starting left back at Galatasaray.
Yes, but is that the level that you need to be that starting left back at Chelsea?
No.
Granted, he probably could have gotten a chance because
no, he would still
Alonso,
no.
We had a left back problem up until we signed Alonso.
That's why I say he would still be functional, but he's not a world class fullback. He's still a good fullback now. Galatasaray just beat my Marseille team 4-4.
But if you're hunting on a title, is he the person that you're going to sign?
No. Gael Kakuta just had his best season in the league and he plays for RC Rennes.
You see what a lot of persons who champion the academy will not admit, and they will say that, but this player wasn't given the time to you have to also say, what did they accomplish when they went out on loan? And you can't say about this team, that, and that team. At the end of the day, a player controls you. If you're sent out to a club, right, and that club doesn't perform well, that doesn't automatically mean that you can't do what is required of you. For example, right? I'll use Mount as an example. When Mount went to Vitesse, it was one of the poorest Vitesse squad.
One of the worst Vitesse squad.
And he was on the bench. He fought his way into the starting lineup. Manager gave him a chance and he performed. He kept performing till he's the first Chelsea player that went unknown to have won the Vitesse Player of the Year. He was instrumental in them qualifying for the Europa League.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
Reece James went to Wigan.
Yeah.
Right? Wigan Player of the Year. Tammy went to Bristol City. 25 goals.
Yeah, but
right? These but you see, that's what I'm saying. The Tammy's generation, the Loftus-Cheek generation, this is the generation of Ake, Christensen, Loftus-Cheek, Musonda, Solanke, Lewis Baker, all of them. Their generation was the first generation that you could have said
should have been given a chance in the Chelsea squad.
Should have been given a chance in the Chelsea squad. And what did we see happen? Jose came out and said, if Loftus-Cheek doesn't make it at Chelsea, they just close down the academy. You hear what I'm trying to say? Musonda was given his chance, but injuries robbed him. When he was at Betis, he was literally a star. But injuries robbed him. Lewis Baker,
injuries
he has
again.
Performed well in every loan that he's been on.
And again, injuries. Every time that Chelsea were to give him a chance, he's injured.
That too. Pasalic. Every club that he has been to has always asked Chelsea to sign him. Can we sign him permanently? It's only Atalanta Chelsea agreed to say, yeah, we can sign him permanently. And Tammy Abraham.
That was after we accept. After we accept. So we'll have Loftus-Cheek and certain other guys.
Exactly. Tammy, 25 goals for Bristol, 25 goals for Aston Villa. Got given his chance for by Lampard. 15 goals in his first season in the Premier League. Now he's at Roma. And that's just because he has Lukaku and Werner in front of him. Where's Ake right now? Ake is at City. Christensen is in Chelsea. Christensen won the Champions League with Chelsea.
But
and
again,
then,
like
we
you
see
said,
the
like you
generation
said,
after them.
no, but like you said, like that was the first generation of Chelsea.
That was the first, so you could have said that, okay, yeah, these guys deserve a chance in the Chelsea squad. And they know Reece Mount generation is a generation that you can absolutely say, yes, maybe Chelsea can do a class of 92 right here.
Yeah.
Because they are that good.
Barca is the only club that have experienced had too much talent to develop. Everybody coming out of the Guardiola era could have been a world class. There was literally no space.
Another thing I want to touch on is Dortmund. They're just sad.
You see, the problem with Dortmund is that since Marcos has came in, and Dortmund are doing the same stupid thing PSG are doing. You can't just keep accumulating talent and tell a manager, hey, let's put this together and make it work. Or you're going to keep firing managers. Again, the only football club in history to ever do that and keep successful is Chelsea. It's only been done by Chelsea. Literally. The only football club that has fired manager after manager while bringing in players of the club's own choosing. The only team that has ever actually worked for is Chelsea. Literally. You can't keep bringing in talent. And again, the same thing that I just explained with PSG is the same thing with Favre at Dortmund. It's the first time I ever see Lucien Favre use a back three. Why? Because he had to adapt to the squad that he had. Instead of being able to build a squad to his own liking.
But it's funny, Favre's Dortmund was actually performing.
Because again, if you have a good manager like Ancelotti, and I'm not saying Favre is Ancelotti, but I'm saying like Ancelotti was able to fix up the PSG squad and make it look like a squad. Tuchel can fix up the PSG squad and make it look like a squad. Laurent Blanc could fix up the squad and make it look like a squad. Why you and I, Emery, finished second in the league? He couldn't fix up the squad to make it look like a squad. Why is Pochettino suffering right now? He can't put the squad together to look like a squad against big teams. There comes a point where you're going to meet a team where your problems cannot be masked. Barca went through it. No, we should have accepted our fate from Roma beat us, but no, we'd have to get 7 from Liverpool over 2 legs. And Bayern did have to do it all 8 of them in a one match before we realized, all right, wait, probably there's something wrong.
So someone need to change.
Yeah. There comes a point where, you're going to meet a team that is well prepared as a team, which is why last season I asked you, who would you prefer to play in the Champions League final? And the reason why I chose City is because, we are the only team that is organized enough to beat City comfortably. When I say comfortably, meaning we're the only team that if PSG plays at their best, we're the only team that can match them for organization and discipline. PSG had enough. The reason why I feared PSG was because they have enough attacking talent that somebody could create a world-class moment out of nothing. With Man City is that we are just as organized or even more disciplined and organized than City. And we actually have a striker.
I mean, it's firing striker, but we had a striker.
But we had a striker. As a matter of fact, our striker who was misfiring is the biggest part of the reason why the goal scored, because he was the one who drew the defense out of place. His run.
He sucked both Diaz and Stones
Exactly.
to create the space.
And that's the little difference that Pep doesn't have in his squad. He doesn't have a forward that will run in behind and can drag players out of place. Now, granted, a false nine can drag players out of place, but there's nobody to run in behind. A forward who can play through the middle and as a false nine Pep system, which is Aguero, was injured for the most part of the seasons that he's there. So at the end of the day, like, you were the one who mentioned this to me. If you saw Chelsea players in the tunnel versus the Man City players in the tunnel before the final, like, Chelsea was a bit more disciplined.
Yeah, like the Chelsea players were standing up straight, looking stern, look at them ready for God war. The City players them look at them ready for God the bathroom. They look like nervousness to the watch them.
I wouldn't say nervousness. I would say that they were looking like them already winning the match. They didn't look nervous. They looked indisciplined. They look like they were pretending like it's another league game.
But I guess for City, it's their first European final, and for Chelsea, granted,
no, but none of these Chelsea,
it's still a Europa League fight. It's still a final.
No, but the majority of these Chelsea players have never played in a Champions League final.
No, but they played a Europa League final.
Yeah, but still, like, I think City was just not disciplined on the day. And again, I think because they beat us in the FA Cup.
No, we beat them in the FA Cup.
Who beat winner the finals of the FA Cup? Leicester, right?
Leicester, yeah.
But I think
we went 2-0 going into the Champions League final.
I think in those matches, City believe that they could have beat us because of how close the matches were. So I thought they went into the match with the idea that, hey, it's the last match of the season. We can keep it close enough to them. We just need a goal. But Chelsea are better at playing that game than anybody.
Exactly. It's in our DNA, really. And the thing is, we have center backs that are willing to throw everything on the line. And they're not afraid to throw their body on the line to stop a goal.
That just comes from desire, in all fairness. That don't really come from necessarily, and like most center backs are like that, in all fairness. But a lot of the time,
our defenders, like Azpilicueta, learned from Terry Cahill, right? Thiago Silva learned from Nesta. So Rudiger was always a warrior. No, so you have defenders who are always what you say now.
I understand what you're saying. Let me explain.
Pose the challenge to you.
No, hold on. I think I know what you're trying to explain. The era that Azpilicueta came from, and even Rudiger, in all fairness, because Rudiger is from that generation as well. The era of defenders that they came from were defenders who didn't care about being pretty.
Yes.
Too many modern defenders. No, too many modern defenders don't care too much about looking like midfielders than looking like defenders. There are certain defenders who used to love tackling and didn't mind their jersey getting dirty. That's the type of player that Azpilicueta is. That's the type of player that Thiago is, Rudiger, Terry's, the Cahills, the Puyols. They will throw their body into shots. They will make certain slide tackles because their focus was on defending. I'm supposed to look dirty after a match. I'm supposed to look grimy. I'm not supposed to be the prettiest player on the field. But modern defenders, and again, granted, it has worked, But modern defenders are trying to be too much like playmakers in midfield.
Yes, that is true. And they have forgotten the art of defending.
Or even liking to defend. It's not just
That is true. Yeah, I remember Roy Keane on Sky Sports once said, some of these defenders don't look like they like to defend.
That's the problem. Leon, one of the and again, I didn't make it to be a great defender, but one of the things that my coaches at least liked about me was that I got a thrill from tackling. I got a thrill from taking on players who were better dribblers than me. Because this is the star that they came to see. And I am the one that's
because there is a because there's a satisfaction as a defender. There's a satisfaction when the hot striker comes in.
Of course.
And just shut him down.
Of course. The brother where everybody in the crowd is screaming for, where every girl show up at the fucking tournament for.
They just shut him down.
I bet you not touch the ball for your Saturday. I bet you make sure you not touch the ball for your Saturday. I'm gonna say, every girl will line up for and stuff. Everybody will screaming at the stands want to see you dribble past me and push the ball through my feet and all kind of tricks and fuckery.
Come score. Huh. Look at the spoil you're there.
As a matter of fact, if you ever make me tackle you up on the sideline, they say you're probably not even get up first and push. That was the mentality of the old school defenders. And Azpilicueta and Rudiger are probably the last of that breed.
But you can see that they are, and I don't know, I think maybe it's a Chelsea thing because Reece James has that mentality, Chalobah has that mentality. People say Christensen is soft, but he also has that mentality. He just doesn't speak.
Yeah, when you're an introvert, it's considered being soft. If you're not showed up and doing like Ramos here, you're weak.
Exactly, but the truth is, he does it in his own way,
Again, there are some leaders who want to lead by example, and everybody wants to round up the troops and have the big speech and every leader leads that way. And that's a big conversation in the NFL. Can I have a quarterback who's an introvert? The Chargers, Justin Herbert. A lot of people will say, "Oh, he cannot be a quarterback in the NFL. He cannot be a quarterback in the NFL. He's too introverted. He doesn't like the cameras. He doesn't like the limelight." And his teammates are like, he's our fucking leader. He leads by example. He doesn't need to come round up the troops and have the biggest speech of all time. He can still hold the people around him accountable enough constantly up on top of his voice. Now, granted, I do still think you need vocal leaders. I do still think you need that.
To add to your point, right?
Yeah.
Gary Neville asked Lampard 29 questions for his show, The Overlap.
Yeah.
And if you're a Chelsea fan, you should really watch it. It's very highlighting. And he asked him, who was the...
I like that name.
The Overlap.
Yeah, I like that name.
Who was the leader or the most fiery person, in training and stuff? He's like, JT. In training, his attitude with the ref, his attitude with the coach, his attitude with the players, if he notices that the intensity has dropped, he's lighting a fire under everybody. And this is Lampard, a man who's also considered a leader in the dressing room. And he's telling you that, if Terry even saw that the intensity is even dipping below what he considers, acceptable, he's getting everybody riled up in training.
Which is why I still
Lampard
think
wasn't the one who went out on the field and showed. No, that was Terry's job. Terry was the one that would be demanding 110%.
And here's a problem
from every player.
And here's a problem that I'm seeing in football. Stop giving the best talent in your squad the captain.
No, because what would Lampard do? Lampard was the one going around shouting and rallying up the troops.
No, he was a leader by
but you want to know what you could count on? You could count on Lampard being the first one to show up in training and the last one.
No, but even let's just even keep it on the field. He's going to work hard on every play and lead by example. He's going to lead by example. You will see him tracking back to help out the defense, bursting along to get forward, to get into the box, to get an end of a chance to score. And what does that does to the other players in the squad?
They'll be like,
heighten their
boy,
intensity.
if Lampard is doing that, I have to match that same
Intensity.
intensity. Chelsea was blessed that they had international captains on bench for them. Players who captain them national team was on the bench.
You were literally selling them and moving them out. Deco was a Portugal captain. Ballack was a German captain. May not be the official captain alone by himself, but he has captained that team before.
Yes, actually, he has captained Germany. He has many caps as captain.
Exactly. So despite all of that, and again, Terry is still the loudest person in the room.
Terry's still the loudest person in the room, exactly. Drogba was the Ivory Coast
captain, and again, Terry is still the loudest person in the room.
Because at the end of the day, it's not your biggest talent that is your captain. No,
it's your actual leader.
A captain is a leader of men.
Exactly.
And just like how your best marksman is not the one that you're going to give is going to captain the squad to go to war. Because your best marksman might not be your best leader.
Exactly, which is why you can hate Per Mertesacker for being slow. But he was a leader in any dressing room that he was in. And I wanted to know.
And the thing is, I wanted to know
because he came off as a Jolly Green Giant.
Yes.
He didn't come off as like a hard nose like Terry. You could see that he was hard nose, but
from what we heard from Arsenal players in the dressing room, he took no shit and he took no bullshit.
Because again, you don't need to constantly be an asshole to people to get them to move.
No, like Roy Keane was the asshole.
Exactly.
Alex Ferguson would be losing at halftime, and he doesn't even have to say. He just leaves. I think Roy Keane said that they left him, the players in the dressing room, alone for 10 minutes. It was Keane that was sorting them out, not Ferguson. Ferguson just came in and gave them few tactical instructions.
Same thing for Wenger. Same thing for Wenger. Wenger always has a captain in his team. Whether his captain is Cesc Fabregas, who again is not the most loud vocal guy ever. But he was the captain for Arsenal for a lot of years.
He was, yes.
But again, when Per Mertesacker came in, Per Mertesacker is a jolly giant. But when the time for the rubber meet the road, he will scream at you. That's why I said you can have an introvert's personality and still hold people accountable when needed. You don't need to constantly be behind somebody or shout after them. But guess what? That leadership style is still good. You have Roy Keane, you have John Terry, Maldini, and Nesta. I don't remember which one of them was more quieter, Maldini or Nesta.
Nesta was the quieter one.
But Nesta led the team after Maldini left.
Mm-hmm.
After Maldini retired. And he was a quiet one. Gattuso more loud than him. Maldini more loud than him. And him still were the captain, man. And then when Nesta retired, he gave it to Gattuso. When Gattuso finished now with the Thiago Silva, as you mentioned. It's all about just being able to hold somebody accountable. That's it. And most important, and again, people, stop making the best player at your club or the most marketable player at your club. Stop giving them captains on, man. I have said it 1,000 times. Messi should not be captain in anything. He's a great talent. He's not a leader.
He's not.
And I'm saying this as probably one of the biggest Messi fans in the world. He ain't no leader. That's why you had Xavi, Puyol, and even Piqué is not really a leader. That's why you had the Puyols and Xavis. Xavi literally licked Neymar in the head while we are celebrating the Champions League. When we had the parade, I don't know what Neymar was doing, and I don't know if they are over celebrate, but Xavi did have to go over to him and slap him in. I want to talk about Neymar, who just scored in the Champions League final, by the
way. Yeah, I don't care. Like, I think a lot of fans don't even understand, and because we have played sports and we have played many sports, a lot of fans don't understand that you might be the best player, you might be the greatest player to ever touch that team sport, but as long as this is a team sport, a team dynamic, you are only, once it comes down to, yo, the captain talk, and the captain talks, the captain talks. And that is the end of that. There is a professionalism that sport, a lot of persons don't even realize that in sports, if the dressing room dynamics are not ironed out and the dressing room hierarchy is not clear, then you will not be a successful team. And success for every team is different. For certain teams, the success is not being relegated. For others, success is winning a title. Not every team will have the same level of ambitions, but no matter what your goal is, if the dressing room dynamics are not clear, then you will not move forward as a team, because there are going to be times when persons need a fire to be lit under them, where persons need to be dragged by the ears to fall in line. And especially in male sports and even in female sports, whenever you're in a high passion environment with other persons who share the same passion as you, because the reason why you're a professional is because you share the passion of everybody else around you. You don't make it as a professional by half-assing it. I've never seen a professional in any sport reach the highest level, which is being paid to play that sport, and they half-assed it. If you're not willing to put in, funnily, Hazard was allowed to joke around training and to not take training seriously, because on the match day, he's going to come and perform. All the players said it. We would just watch him laugh and goof off in training. But we know that once the ball is kicked on match day, you know what you're going to get out of him. But I think that's where we end it.
Yeah, we've gone way over the time.
Yes, we have actually. A weekend of football to come. I think the match of the weekend is Chelsea United.
Man U, yeah. I don't even want to call it the match of the weekend because I expect Chelsea to walk over them.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is,
what's that?
Teams that just lose their managers are very unpredictable.
Again, Man United have too many square
and it's Anthony Taylor that is the referee, and every time he has refereed us versus United, we have lost.
Yeah, but like I must say, I think United.
Yes, we should beat them comfortably, but the ball round and.
Yeah, but like I said, brother, if them can take five from Liverpool at the Stadium of Dreams, we can at least get it to.
The theater dreams, the theater nightmares.
That's what we should turn it into this weekend.
Well, I stand for a bridge then this one.
Oh, even better. Even better. Even better.
But I said the Red Devils are not storming this bridge.
No. Fuck. You're going to commit suicide off it.
It's funny because, and I don't want to go over.
We have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes.
Ian Wright said, as much as the coach changed, but has the coach really changed? Because still the same people. Your Carrick, your McKenna, and it's still the same people.
And Ragnick, I'm afraid of, here's what I fear about Ragnick. I would put him in that Bielsa category.
No. He's a visionary, but that's as far as it goes.
No, that's what I mean. I hate.
Me want to see how him go get Sancho and Ronaldo for press and Rashford and these guys for press.
Oh no. Ragnick love Ragnick love him 4-4-2 diamond. You know love him. You know love wingers like that. Even when he uses,
he plays a very high pressing game.
Leon,
he's literally the father of Gengen pressing for a reason.
He is, which is why I said the Man United solution is to drop fucking Rashford, Greenwood, and Sancho. I keep saying it, but nobody don't want to fucking accept it.
Yeah, but again, even if you drop them,
yeah,
I want to see how him go get 2 old man for press.
Who Cavani? No.
Press.
Cavani will press. Cavani, I don't know. CR7 himself will press.
Cavani can barely stay fit. So it's probably him and Rashford up top. More than likely him and Rashford.
Like I said.
Rashford will work hard. Because Rashford is a hard worker.
Again, as long as him playing 4-4-2 diamond, he might go all right. I think a lot of the players.
The problem is like, I feel Rangnick will probably use a 4-2-3-1 because his style of play is irrelevant to. And formations are just that for him. They're formations. His tactical framework that he employs, I want to see how he's going to get this United team to work hard.
Leon, like
because
I said,
that was all the problems Ole had.
No,
this United
Leon,
team refused to work hard.
Yeah, but that's under Ole. That's why I said I am not worried about Ragnick getting them to work hard. He needs to find a formation to get the most out of CR7. And it's a 4-4-2 goddamn diamond. I don't care who he uses with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Hey, Portugal make it work in our 4-2-3-1.
When?
They've have you not seen their last couple of results? Granted, the World Cup qualifiers kind of off, but
because
the Euros, the Nation Leagues, they have the 4-2-3-1 works.
No. Here's the thing. They first and foremost they won the Euros that they won with a 4-4-2. That's the first thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking after that. Once when they've included Jota, Bernardo Silva, Bruno, they play 4-2-3-1 and they make it work. But they make it work because the likes of Jota, Bernardo Silva, they run hard, they press hard. Them use Carvalho, is it Carvalho?
Yes, Carvalho and Danilo.
What's the other guy's name?
Two pure defense.
Yeah, so they press, they work hard.
No, but Leon, here's the difference with that squad. The difference with that squad is that squad is separated into two, how they play. It's literally a back six. Because they have 4 at the back and 2 defensive midfielders who act as centre backs as well. Fernandes is basically a link between the midfield and the attack, which is of course an attacking midfield as well. But what worked so well for Portugal over the years, and we saw when it stopped working in the Euros, and right now, just like you said, if there's a manager that can separate the two from each other.
And yeah, this is where, even about our era.
Let me just finish the point. Fernandes is different from having Neymar or Messi as a number 10. And that's why it's different from PSG to Portugal. The reason why it worked so well for Portugal is because Fernandes was willing to drop very deep and collect the ball and push up front.
Yeah, because he can play as a centre mid.
Yeah, he is. As a matter of fact,
like I said, Bernardo Silva and Jota is also willing to drop in and do the dirty work.
Yeah,
press the midfield from other teams, track back and help out their defenders.
Yeah, but that more has to do with the formation.
What I'm trying to say is United 4-2-3-1 can work. You don't need to play a diamond to get the best out of Christie because you are sacrificing a lot of attacking talent in United by playing a diamond. A 4-2-3-1 can work.
But how your midfield?
But you need your players to work hard.
No, but Leon,
and stop acting like they're all prima donnas.
True, but again, Leon, they're going to concede more goals than they can score, and that's the problem.
I don't think they are.
Yes, they will.
No, they will Mario, irrespective of shape, they're going to concede more goals. Irrespective of shape. But the biggest factor United have is Shaw and Wan-Bissaka have to be defending against a fullback and a winger because the winger in front of them don't want to step in and do anything. You get what I'm trying to say?
I get that, but Leon, again, I still think the best way to get the most out of this United team is to play a 4-4-2 diamond to get the most out of all of your midfielders.
With a 4-4-2 diamond.
What's the problem? There's no problem.
No problem. But you want to know how a 4-4-2 diamond works properly? You need your central midfielders to work hard to cover the ground.
And again, I keep on saying the same thing. Leon, I keep on saying the same thing to you over and over again. I am not worried about the United working hard under Ragnick. The reason why they weren't working hard on Ole is because of Ole. We've seen it 1,000 times. When players shut off managers, because again, when Jose just came to Man United, everybody started working hard until they stopped liking Jose. Same thing for Louis van Gaal. Everybody started working hard until them tired of Van Gaal. Same thing for Jose, and the same thing for Ole. You remember when Ole just come in and everybody acted like he was Man United's savior? Because in that first spell, everybody started to work hard. Everybody started to score goals. The youngsters that are being brought into the squad like Mason Green. But guess what? What happened after everybody tired of Ole? Everybody stopped playing. So I'm not worried about United's work ethic under Ragnick. They will start to work hard. I don't think with the formation that they have, even if they work hard, United CR7 is not the striker that can play up by himself anymore. Especially in a league like this. He cannot. Or at least to a level where they can compete. Which is why I said they were always coming fourth. The only way I see them being able to compete is if CR7 has no work to do up front. And the only way to do that is play him alongside another striker, whether it is Cavani or Rashford. The reason why I picked Cavani is because Cavani has the experience of being in the Champions League so much that, in a top match like that, Cavani will step up. Now you say Cavani is not fit, cool, bring in Rashford. It doesn't matter which one of them start with him. The point is you need to play in a style of play that get the most out of your midfielders in Pogba, Van de Beek. How to get the most out of them? Let them, even though they have to work hard, to get the most out of Van de Beek and Pogba, use a defensive midfielder who can drop in between your centre backs. That's Matic. Granted, he's old, but at least he will fit the playing style. And then
but the problem with Matic is everybody just go run right past him.
No, but that's why I said. And we've seen
that they just run right past him.
Which is why I said the 4-4-2 diamond is a bit shit, because what it would do is take a lot of pressure off of Matic even defensively. Because you have two central midfielders who, again, would be working hard box to box. And again, Matic is just there to drop in between the centre backs to create a third centre back. He isn't even really playing in midfield. The attacking shape would actually be 3-5.
You have all heap of faith in them players, Mario.
No, but I have faith in Ragnick to get the most out of these guys, and that's the difference. Everybody did look like them step up them game when Ole just come. When Jose just come, everybody looked like them step up in game until they were tired of the manager. That's why I said I trust in Ragnick to get them working hard again. He still needs to get Pogba at his best, Van de Beek at his best, CR7 at his best, Fernandes at his best. And the only way I see them getting all three of those most important or the most talented guys in their squad at their best, Rashford can be at his best in any formation, whether on the wing or up front. But to get the most out of CR7, Pogba, and Van de Beek, which are the most important players in your squad, you're going to have to switch to a diamond if you want the most out of them. But now, so you can't get nothing out of them in a 3-5. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, forget Pogba for play like him can carry you to a Champions League final like he did Juventus, 4-4-2 diamond. Forget Van de Beek for carry you to a semi-final like he did Ajax, 4-4-2 diamond, based on the squad that you have.
All right, make we pause it right there, so.